Chapter 1. The Magic Vessel. Muthu and Chelam lived near a banyan tree with 11 children. Muthu was a playwright. The people in the village loved his plays. But every time he made a little money, someone came and borrowed it from him. Chelam, his wife, worried about the future. Muthu, she said, our banyan is okay as long as our children are small. But what will we do when they grow? Why do we need a house, Chelam? He replied. Banyan has looked after us so well, so long. It will always take care of us. Stop getting perturbed. However, Chelam continued to be concerned. So, one day after the sun rose and the cock crowed, Chelam put some old cooked rice into a small pot, tied it with a cloth, and gave it to Muthu. Here, take this, she said. Promise me you will try and earn some money. Okay, Muthu replied. I'll do my best. So off Muthu went through the forest. Suddenly he came to a grove, and tried as he might, he always ended up in the same spot from where he started. I am lost, Muthu exclaimed as he hung his pot on a branch, and I feel so drowsy. The stream rippled a haunting tune, and he rested his head comfortably on a pillow of leaves. Soon he was fast asleep. In this forest lived little tree spirits. When they saw Muthu, they floated down from the branches, chuckling and chattering. Look, said one, pointing at the pot. Eagerly they took down the pot and undid the cloth in which it was tied. A stale, sour smell wafted to their noses. The tree spirits knew all about idli, masala dosa, sambar, and Mysore pak. But this was different food. They chorused with great delight. In no time, they licked the pot clean. Muthu awoke. He was hungry, but the pot was empty. Oh, what shall I do now? He sobbed. Suddenly, near his foot, he saw a shining golden thing. What is this? He said. It was a small brass vessel. If only I could have at least this much to eat. Immediately, the spirits came down from the trees. They spread a plantain leaf in front of Muthu. One spirit served him pickle, another chutney, then steaming rice and ghee. Golden brown sambar was poured on the rice. It smelled so good. Eat, friend, the tree spirit said. Muthu ate hungrily. That was great, he said, licking his fingers, looking up, but the tree spirits had disappeared. Muthu looked down at the vessel. That's for you, soft voices said from the trees. It's a magic vessel. Oh, thank you, beautiful creatures of the forest, Muthu said and hurried home. It was evening. He could hear his hungry children crying. Muthu put the vessel down in front of his door. He lit a lamp, folded his hands, and said, I wish my wife and children can sleep happily and on full stomach tonight. From the branches of banyan, the tree spirits came down. They scrubbed the children clean. They oiled their hair and made them wear crisp new clothes. Then they fed them. The children ate and fell fast asleep. The next day, Muthu and Chelam threw a feast for everyone who had given them food when they had none. We are going to eat in a poor man's house. Better eat before going, the village folks said to each other. But what a surprise! The tree spirits gave them a meal fit for the gods. Delicious rice preparations, lots of mouth-watering vegetables, and an array of colorful sweets in different shapes were served to the guests. The richest man in the village was the silk merchant Kuppuswami. He got terribly jealous when he heard of Muthu's good luck. He too wanted a magic vessel. I will take an enormous pot of lemon rice for the jungle creatures. They will give me a huge vessel in return, he thought to himself as he set out on his buffalo cart. He came to the grove. Ayyo, what is this? My head is spinning, he said. Kuppuswami pretended to sleep. He was soon snoring. The tree spirits saw what was happening, looked at the mountain of lemon rice, and chuckled wickedly. When Kuppuswami awoke, there in front of his eyes was a huge vessel, an uruli. "Ha!" he said, gloating to himself, "a big vessel for a rich man." The uruli was very heavy, and Kuppuswami had a hard time lifting it. Somehow he managed to push it into the cart. The buffalo dragged the silk merchant and his newly worn uruli home in the hot sun. As soon as he reached home, Kuppuswami dispatched a drummer into the village with an announcement. "Come one, come all," the man said. "There is a feast in the silk house tomorrow." The people said to one another, "In a poor man's house, the food was so tasty. In a rich man's house, it will be better. Better starve so we can eat our fill there." The village folk wore their best clothes and gathered outside the silk merchant's house. They looked hungrily at the magic vessel displayed proudly outside. The rich man cleared his throat and declared, "I wish my guests have a meal they will never forget." The wish had hardly left his mouth when, swoosh! An army of burly creatures bounced out of the vessel and began jumping at the guests. They had huge eyes and fierce moustaches. Grinning mischievously, they swung huge clubs. "Ha, ha!" they laughed. "You want a meal you will never forget? Here it is." And they waved their clubs around wildly. Screaming in shock, the people ran this way and that. "Don't go, don't go," Kuppuswami screamed after them. But who listened? That evening, Muthu and his family gathered in a circle in front of old banyan. Chellam lit a lamp and all the children bowed before it. "Thank you, kind spirits," Chellam said. "Thank you for giving us this magic vessel. Now nobody will ever go hungry again." The leaves of old banyan rustled as a cool breeze blew. Muthu smiled at Chellam.